As 2025 closes, on this episode of Rock School Proprietor Podcast, Mandy and I are doing something we think all of you should do, reflecting on the past year, what worked, what didn't, and what we're taking into 2026. We share our wins and failures from the past year, why writing down goals actually helps, and how unexpected challenges taught us more than our successes did. We're also sharing the actionable steps we're taking into the new year to build stronger studio culture and achieve measurable goals. This episode is part reflection and part roadmap for starting the new year with clarity and intention. Stay tuned. Just a quick heads up to our listeners that I'll be speaking at the NAMM show in Anaheim, California on Saturday, January 24th. My session's called Reimagining Private Music Lessons for Today's Learners, and if you're going to be there, I would love to see you. And even if you can't make the session, but you're heading to NAMM, shoot me an email at info@rockschoolproprietor.com. I'd love to connect while we're at the show. Welcome to Rock School Proprietor Podcast. My name's John Kazicki.
And I'm Mandy York.
And it's New Year, new goal setting time, right,
yes,
Mandy?
It's that time of year, yeah.
And reflecting on the past year.
Yep. We are in the thick of it right now. As we're recording this, it's not quite Christmas yet.
Right. Yep. Still December, but we're looking forward to 2026.
Yes. And it hits me every year. The busyness of the holidays, the anticipation of a break, we're taking a break. So getting excited for that coming off of a busy season. But then also knowing the new year's going to start. There's no stopping time. Here we go. We're going to be off and running. And so it's really important to take some time right now to reflect on the last year and set some new goals. I think you've been thinking about this too, right?
Well, I have, but I'll tell you what. We did a New Year goal planning episode last year. So It was episode 23. It was about setting goals for the year. And I remember in that conversation, there was a lot of talk about how, for me personally, if I don't write down my goals, I just don't hit them. Mm-hmm. And I think we even shared statistics in that episode about that's pretty common for a lot of people. And it's something crazy, like you're 40% more likely to hit a goal if you write it down. But this year, I think I need a little bit more of reflection on the past year, because I felt like I was just in the thick of it for most of the year this year. So I think it'll be good to just sort of reflect and instead of, because my gut is telling me man, there was a lot of pressure this year. And I think if I sit down and reflect on maybe some of the things that I did in 2025, I'll feel a little bit better about it, because I felt like I was kind of in survival mode. So I'm ready to talk about that kind of stuff, as well as some planning
for the year to come. Yeah, for sure. As I've been thinking about the transition to 2026, I've been there too. I've been really thinking more about reflecting first. I think that it's important to evaluate and process. It's like forcing yourself to take some time and process everything that happened. Like you said, you were in the thick of it, and time passes quickly, gosh.
Yeah.
So, before you know it, we're going to be planning for our spring semester. So it's time to reflect on what has happened. And so in order to do that, I've kind of tried to organize myself here in what to consider as we reflect on the past year, and then how to use that information going forward. These are some things that I've come up with that I want to process.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to start on a negative note, but
no.
but
well, I kind of did
too. what were my most difficult moments and experiences throughout the year, right? Of course, that's important to look at and learn from those experiences. Process. That's the word I keep thinking of. I need to process all of this information.
Okay.
So what were those things looking back throughout the year? and maybe this aligns with that, what goals from last year, pull those out. What goals did I not achieve? And or what things did I want to do in the year but wasn't able to get done? And then flip that. What things were you most proud of throughout the year? Right? Looking at that list of goals from last year, what goals did you achieve? And then what surprises came up?
Yeah.
Because that always happens, right? What surprises came up? And those are not always negative. There's like positive and negative surprises that happen.
Yeah.
Year, right?
I've got both. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that as far as reflecting? Can you think of any other points?
Well, I'm ready to reflect, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll dig in.
I'll give you. Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So I'll give you a. It's weird because I made this a goal. I wanted so we have I think from last year we talked about kind of this framework in the last year's episode, segmenting goals into 4 categories: a student number or revenue goal, a studio culture goal, a giving back goal, and a personal goal. So my studio culture goal was to do more. It's funny. It had to do with like internal. It wasn't students and families. It was my staff. And my goal was to do more staff hangs. But I'll tell you what, one thing that I feel like I failed on is I didn't make it measurable. I didn't say like, oh, we're going to plan like 5 or 6 or whatever. I didn't put a number to it. So in that respect, I was like, oh, it's so basic, but I failed in that.
Yeah.
But we did more studio hangs. Like, and when I say studio hangs, I mean the staff in 2025 than we did the previous year. So I feel like I took steps to move the needle on that. So I felt pretty good about it. But I think more in this coming year, and I'm going to write a number.
Right. That's a really good point. I'm writing that down because you can't just say, I want this to be better.
Yes.
You want to say, like, how do I want this to be better?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Teachable moment. Good.
Yeah, for sure. But what we also did, and like, I don't like to do all staff meetings. I mean, I've got over a dozen people on my staff, and they have all different schedules, and it's really hard to find a time to get everyone together for a staff meeting. So I respect that, but I really felt like in the interest of promoting that studio culture, yes, we'll do those casual hangouts, but also let's do some staff meetings. It was the tail end of the year that I kind of got back into implementing those in a regular routine, which I felt good about. And we've been using like better internal communication systems too. So I felt like on my studio culture goal, even though I fumbled, I moved the needle. So I'm going to call that.
That's a win. Yeah, I would too. Yeah. I had a goal to hire another teacher. And I did not. Okay. I did not. I'm going to call it a fail. Well, I'm not going to call it a fail. But I'm actually meeting with someone next week to talk about a training schedule. So sure, my needles moved a little bit, but that was a goal of mine and it didn't happen. I actually took on more teaching hours myself. But I guess this goes along with the surprise. I had a teacher that just went on maternity leave. Yeah. So that's, so surprise, things happen. We rolled with it and I added more hours to my schedule and I have had more conversations. I think we're going to talk about hiring again soon too. I won't get into it too much, but like I'm just learning a lot and I'm being really picky and anyway, slowly moving the needle forward, but no, I did not hire another
What do you
teacher.
think in retrospect? I mean, I know for that goal I mentioned, I was like, I didn't write down a way to measure this. So that was clearly why I feel like I wasn't as effective in that goal. But do you, in hindsight, do you think you understand why you didn't hit that goal?
Fear.
Oh,
Like, basically, yes, I
yeah.
think that's why. Yeah. And
That's a real thing.
that's a real answer. And no, it was always on my goal list. I would always see it and I would brainstorm a little bit and I had some conversations, but to be totally honest, I don't think I worked as hard as I should have on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was caught up in the tyranny of the urgent, as we always are,
Yeah.
and because I was, kind of afraid. It's a big, heavy task. But
You know what this makes me think of a little bit? It makes
Hmm.
me think of, and we talked just a little bit about this, and in fact, I said I wasn't really going to mention this, but the different types of goal planning, like there's the really popular one, which is the SMART goal planning, and people can look it up, but it's an acronym. And then the other one that I was recently turned on to, which is PACT goal planning, which PACT stands for purposeful, actionable, continuous, and trackable. What your, miss makes me think about is it's like the big difference between those two. SMART goals are really focused on outcomes, right? So like it's almost, I mean, it's not this simple, but like you didn't hit that goal, right? So the outcome is like, well, you didn't do it. PACT goal planning is more about output, meaning you're saying, I am going to do these things, right? So this is the action that I'm going to take, and you're less concerned with the outcome, right? So when it comes to goals that we're maybe afraid of, I definitely see this more in personal goals. Like, I mean, it's a real general one, but like fitness goals, right? It's like we get so hyper fixated on like, oh, I want to be ripped and I want to like weigh this amount and like whatever, or I want to lift these weights. But instead, like really, if you focus on just your output, like, okay, don't think about the outcome. Think about, I'm going to do this thing. Like I'm going to do 30 sit-ups every night, 5 nights a week, consistently, right? You're just focused on that output so that the outcome eventually happens.
Yes, that's good. Like the how, like those small manageable steps. How am I going to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just looking at that goal every day.
Yeah.
Like me. This is what I have to do. Well, I guess I did have kind of a surprise though. We talked about like reflecting on surprises. I guess this is a surprise. So I was teaching a lot more and realized that I really realized how much of the kind of mundane tasks and menial tasks I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, if I'm teaching so much more, I need more help. And my admin is doing a lot. She's doing plenty. And we discussed how to like split up these tasks. And I ended up hiring a student, like an after school student, to stop in and do stuff. Yeah. That was a cool surprise. And I was like, this is great. Like we've talked about this before. I'm a technician. That's the kind of business owner I am. I like being in the classroom and all of that. I enjoy this teaching load, but that means I need to cut back elsewhere. And so that was kind of a cool, surprise consequence of this mix up for me that I was able to do that. And then, I did grow as a teacher this year. I think I got more creative, and my older kids, for me, older kids are kindergarten through second grade. Like that class for me, like is really grooving right now. So no, I didn't hire. I have, I'm taking some small steps. I really do think I'll have somebody within the next 2 or 3 months, but other things came out of that, like the after school help, student help, and improving my own teaching. So
that's cool. I did something similar. And this wasn't even a goal. This was just like this nagging thing that I knew I needed to do, which was organize our systems and processes that are all documented. organize them in a better
Yeah.
way. Because, like so frequently what happens is we'll implement something new or we'll create like a different way of doing things. And I'll like quickly open up a document. Here's how we do it. And then I don't even think about where we're going to file this. How does it relate to anything else? Right. So I did something very similar to what you said you did with hiring a student. I had a former instructor who had moved out of state. She was coming back into town for a couple weeks and she let me know that she was available for whatever, right? Subbing, office work. And I said, perfect. Why don't you come in for 2 weeks? Here are all the processes. Just go for it. Organize them. And she did it. And it was like the best, just like temp hire that I think I've ever made.
Yes.
Because similar to you, I'm busy. My admin's busy with other things. Yes, this is related to administrative stuff, but it's like, it's time consuming. So yeah, that was a nice little surprise that came about for me.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. So cool. And I hadn't thought about it before, It just sweet. Let's see. What else? Oh, well, did you tell me what were your most difficult moments or experiences this year? Have anything there?
Yeah, I've got two. I had a lot of personal ones that I'm not going to share, but studio wise, there were two goals that I kind of, one that I failed on, didn't hit, which was a student number goal.
Okay.
And we lost a significant number of students in May. Like more than we've ever lost. Like the last time we had a loss like this was like COVID.
Okay.
And it kind of had me reeling for like most of the summer. And, we've slowly been building back, but that was kind of this unexpected, like, man, not only am I not going to hit that student number goal, we got to make up some ground here. But coincidentally, I believe I mentioned on the last episode about like one of the things I also look at is I look at that percentage number of our students who are in our groups or performance band programs. And my goal with that is always to be like 50 to 60%. So ironically, even though we lost a bunch of students, that percentage goal, we still maintained it. So, give and take. So that was one of them I didn't hit, and that was a challenge. Another one was my giving back goal. I have wanted to set up this scholarship program, and I looked into how do you do this, right? Like what is the accounting involved and like all this other stuff. And so I decided like the best way for me to do this is to partner with a local nonprofit. And we had a few meetings and it was like, yeah, I think this is going to work out. And then the meetings were like, there was friction there for me in like how things were going. And I realized I can't do this. And so I bailed out on that one. I mean, we still did kind of the same charitable stuff that we typically would do. But yeah, that project, that idea, I bailed out. And so, yeah, didn't hit that one either.
Yep. But that's kind of, that was a learning experience. You tried something new. You tried, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
And yeah, I would imagine, like you said, like the accounting rules and things like that, that can be tough. And is that something you want to take on? Or are there other things that you can do?
That was really it. That was really it. It was like, okay, if I do this myself, I don't want to take on the extra administrative stuff. If I partner with an organization that already has that stuff in place, then that takes that load off. But then I realized the trade-off there was, I mean, Like you know how I am. I
Like
want to do things my way.
Yeah, you're going to lose some of the control, right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. I would be I would be the same way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are two that I kind of failed on.
Okay.
Or I shouldn't say fail. I didn't hit them.
Right.
Yeah.
We're reflecting. Yeah.
Yep.
We're just having like honest conversations with ourselves about what actually happened this year. I did one of my goals was to kind of analyze my giving because I'm just kind of a yes person a lot of the time, you know? And so I was like, okay, what am I really doing and giving? So I looked at 2024 numbers last year when I was setting goals for 25 and looked at it and then came up with like a budget for myself. And then, you know, I said no a little bit more this year, so that was a win. It didn't hurt me. You know, everything was okay. You can say no sometimes.
Yeah.
But was able to, sometimes if you say yes too much, it makes it harder to say yes. If you say yes to everyone, it makes it harder to say yes to those, you know, people or causes that you really want to support. And so I made sure that what I was doing and giving aligned with my studio and my personal interests. So that was a win. That was good. I wanted to take on my bookkeeping this year. Did I tell you that?
No.
Did I tell you that? I wanted to take on my bookkeeping. So I have a tax accountant and a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
And I think you do all your own bookkeeping though.
I do. Yeah. I do bookkeeping, but I have an accountant. Yeah.
Right. So I have a bookkeeper that does my monthly books. And it's not a really difficult task, but I loved handing it over maybe she's been with me 5 years. I don't remember. But I want to take it on because like systems are in place. You know, it's really easy. You know, she's set me up, but I didn't. And I suppose if I had hired another teacher, maybe I would have. Along with like my thinking with hiring this after school student help. It's like, okay, that's giving me extra hours every week. So maybe I'll get a new teacher in place. I have a student helper and maybe I'll take over my bookkeeping this year. That's one of my goals. Yeah. Yeah. Dang. Okay. I need a little more positive maybe.
Well, I'll go positive. I'm going to talk about my personal goals.
Okay.
Which ironically, I kind of didn't hit the personal goal that I set for myself, but I hit a bunch of other personal goals that just sort of came up and I decided I'm going to pursue this. So one that I set for myself was to completely not work on Fridays. And I still didn't hit that. I don't know if I'm ever going to hit that one. Like
That's really hard.
The idea of it sounds so great, but I don't know. The things that I tend to do on Friday, I actually enjoy. So I don't know if I'm ever going to hit that one, but I digress. So I didn't hit that one, but personal goals that I did hit, and these are all like, they're kind of both personal, but also kind of business diversification goals. So number one, I finished the strumming book that I published this year, which was really cool.
That was big.
Yeah. So I was super happy about that. And that wasn't even on my list, but that was just something that I'd kind of been working on ongoing. I took on another project that I had been thinking about, like running this project around my head for literal years. I don't want to go too much into detail about it yet because it's not ready to be sprung on the world, but it's a kind of a songwriting learning product thing that I finally took on that project, and it got legs and we're close to the finish line with that. So I'm really happy with how that's going. And I'm speaking at NAMM in January, as I've mentioned already on the podcast, and that is a huge one for me. So I'm really excited about that one. And that wasn't even on a list like, oh, speak at NAMM someday, but I'm super excited about that one. There's this other project that I've been working on for a couple of years that has to do with the curriculum that we do at the rock school. And that one's just like, there have been goals that we keep missing. And like all year we missed a certain goal with that. It was like the end of 2024 goal and we missed that. So I think 2026, we're so close to the finish line with that one. So I'm excited about that.
Yes. Yeah, you've got a lot in the works. It is exciting. Yeah, we've done good things.
And that's what keeps me fired up about, I think, everything that we do. I love the rock school, but we've got the systems so dialed in with how we run everything that like our concert schedule and our band program runs pretty smoothly at this point. So that does give me a little bit more freedom to get creative and look at other ways to kind of diversify and explore my own creativity with these other projects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really cool. It's great. What else is on my list? Oh, so it was my 10-year anniversary this summer.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And we did a number of like anniversary events. We did kind of a series of events. And that fed into my goal of like strengthening our studio culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was a huge success. It was really cool. I do feel like, yeah, our families and are more connected, and even the business within the community. It's just, it was a good year for us. I loved it.
Yeah. And you did a lot for that. Like 4 events? Was it 4?
Yeah, it was 4. Yeah, we partnered with the cinema. We did a picnic. We had our annual concert. And we did a grown-ups night only.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. But I'm super glad we did it. And then we met or exceeded our numbers, our goals for each semester.
Great.
Because of the way I'm structured, I set goals kind of quarterly for registrations, and we met or exceeded each goal. So that was really great.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good year. I think I talked about this in one of our podcasts, maybe last year's goal podcast, about like more touches, kind of individual, and which I think feeds into like the idea of building culture a little bit too. And I didn't have anything to measure that by either. Kind of like earlier you were talking about not, how do I measure this? But I did have to order more stationery. So
you probably sent more notes?
Yes. And I know I did. I was definitely more intentional about it, and more conversations with caregivers and individual emails to caregivers about their kids. And I think that went along with my teaching too. I was more in, as far as those individual conversations, more in my parent ed, routine with that, perfecting how I do that with the parents. So I'll say that's a win.
So as you're reflecting now, are you feeling good about the year? Are you feeling like, we talked about some of these goals we didn't hit, but like in general, I mean, it's important to hit those goals, but if we don't hit those goals, how do we rebound?
Right.
Because if we're down in the dumps, it makes it really, really hard to get fired up about setting new goals or feeling good about what we're doing. I don't know. How are you feeling about it?
I feel good. I really do. And I think this is actually really fun, having this conversation, like going back and forth. These exercises are typically, something for personal self-reflection. But having a conversation like this, going back and forth, like it's exciting to talk about your past year, right? This is cool. Talking about what happened. Sure, there were things that I didn't do. And, I'm sitting here with my my pad of paper and my list is really long. I have more, positives and, negatives. I mean, we always want to focus on the positive things and just learn from these things these goals that you didn't accomplish, What happened and how can I make the changes? I love what you said about the packed planning.
Mm-hmm.
I think focusing on the how, set the goal, and then, okay, I did not hire a teacher this year, but how? Like, what are the things I'm going to do very specifically to make it happen within the first quarter next year?
Yeah, I know you're a fan of Atomic Habits, and some of it's that, I think.
Yes, that's what
like just
the pack
putting in the work
reminds me of. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you want to share goals for 2026, or are you not there yet?
I'm not quite there yet. I mean, I'm working on it. Hiring is my number one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is my number one. Yeah. What do you have goals that you want to share?
I'm not there yet.
You're not there
yet. Yeah. I mean, I think these ongoing projects that I'm working on, like I see realistic timelines for when they're going to be finished. So obviously those are goals, but yeah, I don't know. I have to kind of really put some thought to it, I think.
Yep.
I've got a couple kicking around in my head, but I've not written anything down yet. And so I feel like for me to commit to them, when I write them down, that's me committing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to not make that mistake again about like not being able to measure some of these.
Yes. Yeah. That's really good advice. That's a good lesson. Yeah. I'm still just in the reflection phase, which I have not spent this much time reflecting like on a previous year. Like I said, I've got my notepad and I've got a couple pages here of reflections and ideas. So this is a little bit different for me as far as how I've done goal planning. I like this.
I haven't done this either, and honestly, I'm feeling pretty good now. If you had asked me before this conversation, like, hey, how was your 2025? I probably would have focused on it was hard. It was a struggle. It was kind of a slog. But thinking about these specifics now, I'm feeling way better in spite of the challenges. There were some pretty good milestones in 2025 now that I look at it like this. So thank you. Thanks for initiating this one.
Yeah. And thanks for talking through it with me.
Yeah, of course.
Cool.
So should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Cheers to 2026.
Here we go.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, John.
If you have topic suggestions or questions, please contact us at info@rockschoolproprietor.com. We'd love to hear from you and hear suggestions for future shows. We've put together some free resources for teachers and studio owners over at rockschoolproprietor.com and a private Facebook group called The Modern Music School. Please join us over there. On social, I'm at rock.school.proprietor on Instagram and John Kazicki on both LinkedIn and Blue Sky. Your ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify are always appreciated. And if you enjoyed the show and gain insight from our conversation, then we count that as a win. All we ask in return is that you pay it forward, and please share the show with someone you think needs to hear it.